Hey, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Jack and Glenn channel. Before we get started, make sure you hit the subscribe button, hit the bell notification so you don't miss any of our reviews. Today, we're going to talk about Ready to Love, season 11, episode number 2. Uh, Weird episode, man. Tommy broke these couples up. We know that 6 people were going to go to the mixer. In other words, you got 10 people going to be at a mixer. The people that were supposed to get eliminated last week didn't get eliminated, so they had a second chance, second opportunity. And what he just actually did just turned this into 2 mixers. So we just kind of wasted an episode. They should have had just 10 people go last week, 10 people come this week, and then eliminate one from that episode, eliminate one from this episode, and we could be where we at. But nonetheless, Ready to Love, you're wasting my time, right? You're wasting that time. Last year, you had the last season, you had Philadelphia take a 6-month break. This year, you're wasting episodes with mixers. What's next, right? What's next? But anyway, let's get into Ready to Love. I'm going to do something different. I'm going to just go through all the men issues. I'm going to just go through I'm going to go through each individual, right? What the problems were, what the issues were, each individual. Let's start with Chris, right? Chris was initially, put up for elimination, right, by the ladies for asking Donna about tea, right? Nick, he asked lady about the lady. He asked Donna about some tea. He wanted to know what the gossip was, right? Man, stop being messy. You are a man, right? Stop being messy. Find out if they try to eliminate you or not. He want to try to figure out if you're going to get eliminated or not. If they like you, they like you. They don't, right? Again, as I mentioned, he went to the second chance mixer. Later, he had a pleasant conversation with Diamond, but kept being interrupted by Ina and then by Dominique. When asked by Tommy, he voted for Diamond and Ina as women who approved from the mixer. So that's what all it was about Chris in that episode. Then we had Cardi, right? Cardi. Cardi don't talk, right? Cardi was sweating like Cisco in the past episode of Ready to Love, right? Act like he cat got his tongue like he couldn't speak. Like the cameras bother him, man. I forget. Sometimes people don't realize, man, these cameras are hot. They're on your show. You're going to be on TV. They don't really know what they signed up for, right? He also went to the second chance mixer. In the second chance mixer, it seemed like he was more relaxed. In the second chance mixer, seemed like he was more calm, cool. I even saw him joking with Dominique, and they laughed a little bit. He later brought up a conversation that really sprung into other things. He brought up a conversation about friends of the opposite sex, which we'll get into that towards a little bit later. That it just blossomed into other things, and eventually, I believe, got somebody eliminated. He voted for Diamond as not improved. Due to the lack of physical attraction when Tom was asked by Tommy. Then we move on to Xavier, right? Xavier initially was put up for elimination by the women, right? Because they felt like he wasn't up to par, right? He felt like he wasn't up to par. Also, he felt like he was always busy, right? He didn't always have time. Lauren's still mad because he won't do a 360 spin. Let it go, girl. Let it go, right? He ain't a piece of meat. He also went to the second chance mixer. During the mixer, he mentioned he was always busy, as I mentioned earlier, which turned Emily off, right? When he said he was always busy, she was like, nope, not for me. I didn't sign up for this. I'm gone, right? Emily wants somebody who's going to be focused, somebody who's going to be in tune to her, and not somebody always busy, right? My man needs to learn how to balance and prioritize his time. But also, if he's busy, he probably is always busy because he don't have anybody in his life. And now he gets somebody in his life, he can balance some of that busyness back. But Emily didn't even give him a chance. But I digress, right? He was brought up for the final elimination because the women felt he didn't have enough time for a relationship, right? He was involved in a awkward moment with Diamond, right? When Diamond asked him, Diamond was like, they were sitting there having a great conversation, and Diamond was like, oh, let me give you my number. And he refused to take her number. If that is not a sign that he don't want you, Diamond, that's a sign he don't want you. So just remember, Xavier was up for final elimination. We'll revisit that too, right? But the women voted for him to be up for final elimination. Then we have Devon, right? Devon? Yeah, I think it's Devon. Yeah, Devon. Yeah, Devon. All right. Y'all know Devon from the one that Ashley said something wrong with his mannerisms, that they thought he was a little quirky and a little weird. They didn't like the way he was dressed. Well, this time, he came, he was looking, I think Dominique said he looked like he was going to church for the last episode, right? Or whatever she said, some kind of comment. But at the second time mixer, yeah, my man looked like he got a fresh cut. He changed his clothes, put on a suit, right? He had a great little bit more confidence here. And he had a lot of confidence. Trust me, he was feeling himself, right? He also had an awkward moment when I talking about he was feeling himself. He was feeling himself. He had an awkward moment with Dominique. They're sitting there on the couch. They were sitting there talking. She was saying some nice things about him. And my man leaned in for a kiss. And Dominique was like, "What you doing?" Here we go. Bruh, you've known this woman for less than 24 hours. You're in a room full of people. Y'all haven't even gone on your first date yet. You probably don't even know her last name. Might not even know her phone number. But you're going to lean in for a kiss. I guess you felt the moment. You read the room wrong. You're a very intelligent guy. You're a professor at the University of Michigan. But you can't read the room or read women because she wasn't ready for that kiss. You made yourself look bad. But again, that's just something that he has to work on. Reading the room. It wasn't a time or a place for a kiss. You're known her for, it's at the freaking mixer. You're at the mixer. Oh, man, he asked Ashante to rate him on a scale of 1 to 10. I can't remember what rating she gave him. She gave him a favorable rating, but it was better the day. It was better the second day than if he would have asked her on the first day. He said Ashante wasn't approved, right? He voted when Tommy was asked who was improved. He voted Ashante was not approved, right? Then we had Ed, right? Not much about Ed in this episode, man. Ed, again, we know Ed went to college with Nicole. All right, and we know he voted for Shannon. He chose Shannon for elimination. All right, he said, "Hey, put her up for elimination." It didn't get really particular what reason why he wanted Shannon for elimination, but we didn't see much of Ed, right? So I mentioned earlier, like the conversation that was brought up, by Xavier. I believe it was that conversation that was brought up by Cardi, having a lot of friends from the opposite sex, right? Well, my man Richie, who took this to another level, right? In a group conversation, Richie said, "Oh, I got thousands. I got 1,000 of girlfriends, right?" Well, she didn't really mean 1,000. I mean, he got probably a lot of women that he hang around, right? Female friends. He got female friends, and he's a biker. He motorcycle. I'm sure there's a lot of female friends. He's a tattoo artist, right? A lot of his clients might be women, all right? But in which Dominique took literally being about 1,000. Now, look, he didn't mean 1,000. He meant he has a woman. All right. Now, Richie said he didn't think Dominique has improved since the second mixer when asked by Tommy. He was called up for a final elimination, right? And eventually, Richie was the one out of the men. The women chose Richie to be eliminated. Richie was eliminated. If you have not heard, Richie passed away. One of you guys hit me up on YouTube on my last video and say, "Hey, did you hear Richie passed away?" I had to go do some research, right? I had to go find out and do some research. And Richie had an accident and succumbed to the injuries in the accident and passed away. So sorry, sorry for Richie. Prayers for Richie and his family. It's sad to hear that he passed away. So praying for him and his family. All right. Then we move on to the women, right? We move on to the women. Again, Richie was the one that eliminated. Him and Xavier was up for elimination. Richie got eliminated. Then we saw, the women. Yeah, the women issues, right? We had Diamond, right? Diamond also went to the second chance mixer, right? She was involved in an embarrassing moment, right? When she at the moment I told you about, she was offended by the fact that Xavier didn't want to take your number. He didn't want to take your number because he didn't want to be with you. He didn't take your number maybe because the way that you were dressed, right? You may like it, you may love it. He didn't like it. He didn't care for it. She had a conversation with Chris that kept being interrupted by Ina. I can't call that girl Ina. Christina and Dominique. Her name is Ina, but Christina Dominique, right? It kept being interrupted. They were having a good conversation, but Ina and Dominique kept interrupting the conversation. Kept talking about all kind of things, and we'll get to that. It just interrupted her conversation, so she didn't have an opportunity to really connect with Chris the way that she wanted to. Ashante also went to the second chance mixer. She was unsuccessful in talking to Cardi. Look, Cardi don't want to talk to nobody. All right, don't want to talk to nobody. As I mentioned, Devon asked her to rate him, and she's big on. She emphasized that she was big on energy. He brought good energy that day, right? He brought good energy, so the rating was what it was, right? I realized, right, she was also called up for the final elimination, right? Because the men felt it was hard for her to open up. And I had a conversation with one of my friends on this. Like, how do you open up? I've been on a dating game for a minute. How do you open up in a mixer, which probably they probably film for 12, 13 hours, right? So how do we open up? How open do you want me to be? How vulnerable do you want me to be? You want me to give how vulnerable do you want me to be in this mixer? Do you want me to tell you everything, my social security number? I just know. How open do you need a person to be in these mixers? I don't know. Right. I think we had Ina, right? She was also at the second chance mixer. She was talking to Chris when she started sniffing him, right? That was weird. She started sniffing a man, right? Uh, and try to pull him away from Diamond. Diamond was having a conversation with Chris. Ina came in and started sniffing him, right? Like, what do you sniff? You smell good. You see he's talking to somebody else. First of all, that's weird to start sniffing people. Like, you're not a dog, right? You're not an animal. Well, she started sniffing him, right? Anyway, she voted for Xavier. All right, she voted for Xavier, and she said Xavier had not improved in the second mixer, right? Dominique, right? Again, Dominique said she started seeing Devon in a new light after he dressed up. Clothes will change a man, right? In women's eyes. My man put on a suit, and now she feeling him. Back then you didn't want me. Now I'm hot. You all on me, right? She didn't want him the day before, but he put on some clothes, got a fresh cut. Hey, now he's good, right? She joked with Cardi leading to the wifey comment, right? She took Richie's comment about having 1,000 females very literally, right? She was described as having a cold and rigid. She has a cold and rigid demeanor. Says something about Dominique that is off in the room. There's something off about Dominique. Dominique, like, hey, she believes she's a baddie. Maybe because of her past relationships, who she's been with. Maybe because she's been with athletes. I don't know. She just has a different. When she walks in the room like, hey, I'm the it. It is what it is, right? Again, she ended up interrupting, I believe it was Diamond and Chris. Again, when I was having a conversation, Ina interrupted Diamond and Chris. Dominique interrupted Diamond and Chris and started playing Would You Rather. Would You Rather game. Oh, is this high school? Are we in the hallways? Are we in the library, the back of the gym? Are we sitting somewhere? Are we skipping class? Would you rather? You're at a mixer. That's why it was weird. There's some of the things that people done at this mixer that at a mixer I wouldn't do. I wouldn't do Would You Rather game at a mixer. I'm not going to lean in and try to kiss anybody at a mixer. I'm going to have a conversation at a mixer. I'm going to talk at a mixer. We're going to interact at the mixer. I'm not going to sniff anybody at a mixer. Okay, I digress. Then we saw Emily, right? Emily was talking to Xavier, but was immediately turned off when he said he was always busy. Again, Emily said, I'm not dealing with this. I'm done. I don't do busy. I want you to be with me. And I'm not mad at her. But again, she wants somebody who's invested in her. My man could adjust his schedule, adjust his time to be with her. She said she likes Cardi, that his conversation skills has improved since the second mixer. As I mentioned, Cardi was more relaxed, right? Emily likes Cardi. They were more relaxed. Then we had Christina, right? Christina got mad, had a real response about her. She stop sniffing people. That's all. Yeah, stop sniffing people and stop making slick comments. Because in her confessional, she talked about Diamond needing more time, more than 2 minutes with Chris. Okay, go over there and have a conversation. Go talk to him. Yeah. Anyway, some of the potential couples that we have, Ed and Nicole, could be a potential couple. Cardi and Dominique could also be a potential couple eventually down the line, right? Devon and Dominique could be a potential couple, even though he tried to lean in for a kiss and it didn't go the way that it was supposed to go. They still could be a potential couple later on down the line. Xavier and Xavier and Emily could be, but I'm not. And nope, that's right, because she said she didn't want enough time for him, so that's not gonna happen as well. So only potential couples that I see is Devon and Dominique, maybe Cardi and Dominique, maybe Ed and Nicole. out of this group, out of the second chance mixer group, I don't see anybody else that could be there. Nobody else that could be the group. For those who got eliminated, the women that got eliminated from this episode, it was Diamond got eliminated from here for whatever. I guess they didn't like her, right? Didn't like her attitude, didn't like her dress, didn't like the way that she was maneuvering. Diamond was the one who got eliminated from this past episode. So you got Xavier. I mean, you have Richie eliminated from the men's side, Diamond eliminated from the women's side. And please, next week, give me some dates. I'm tired of the two mixers. I want to see people. I want to see the dates. I want to see them interact. I want to see them go with each other. I want to see go to a restaurant, go to a pottery class, go somewhere, right? Yeah. Episode wasn't exciting, kind of boring, if you truth be told, if you ask me. Didn't give us anything new. Just gave us another mixer. And we saw some men improve. Saw some women improve. All right. Ashante got some things to work on, and Xavier got some things to work on because those were the two that was in the bottom that did not get eliminated. All right. Those were the two at the bottom. It was Xavier and Richie. Richie went home. Ashante and Diamond. Diamond left. Ashante and Xavier were saved. We'll see what happens next episode on Ready to Love. If I missed anything, please leave me a comment in the comment section below. Let me know what I missed. And how are you enjoying this season of Ready to Love? I heard things pick up later on, and Detroit gets a little wild and crazy. I think next week they're going skating, roll bounce. Hope it's more exciting than what we saw this past episode. All right, talk to you later. Make sure you hit the subscribe button, hit the bell notification. Talk to you later. Peace.